Welcome to Bennetts BikeSocial. Welcome to the stunning and beautiful Anglesey. But more important, welcome to the extremely radical Motor America championship winning bagger race bike made by Indian Motorcycle. Now they not only won Daytona last year, they also won the championship. And to celebrate that, they've made a limited edition run of baggers that you can actually buy. This is a bike that you can actually purchase. And it's not like a watered down version of the race bike. This is the race bike. This is the bike that they ran in 2022. This is the bike that McWilliams rode to victory at Daytona. And you can buy it. That's an impressive fact. In terms of what it is, the main frame is as standard, same as the standard bike, and then everything else is almost changed. The gearbox is the same, the gearbox ratios are the same, but it's kind of like an open rule book and you can do what you want. So it's actually got a big bore kit, we've gone up in capacity, we've gone up in power, we've gone up in torque. Forks are completely different, 17-inch wheels, completely different brakes, brace swinging arm. The bags are carbon fibre, they're actually empty, they've not got my sandwiches in. It is a completely different bike. The frame has to stay the same. It has to have a pretty similar silhouette, which is why the bodywork is the same. But as far as everything else goes, it's all bars. You can do what you want. You can go big bore. There is a weight limit, which is 290 kilograms, which Indian tell us that they've had no problems at achieving that. There's no carbon fibre on this apart from the bags. There's no titanium because it's quite easy for them to achieve that minimum weight limit. We've had the opportunity to throw some laps together on the bike here at Anglesey, and it's just a little taster really, just to get a feel of what this bike is all about. I mean, when I first saw the racing, I was so impressed by the racing. It looked so much fun, but the bikes don't look that big actually on TV. But when you get to see it, I mean, it's huge. The reason for the ginormous seat height and the massive ground clearance is obviously for ground clearance. This bike, you can just lean it and lean it and lean it. The power and the noise, the TV just doesn't do it justice how radical and extreme this bike is. So amazing opportunity for us to ride the bike today. We've had limited time on the bike, but to be fair, if I had 50 laps, I still wouldn't be that fast. And obviously you've done 1,000 laps on this bike. So what was it like the first time you saw the bike? Because when we saw it for the first time, we're like, Jesus, that's big.
Yeah, it's a bit overpowering when you first see it, and you're not sure what to expect. And when you get on it, all kinds of emotions go through your head, because the first time I rode it, we were trying to run with a 1-to-1 throttle.
Right, yeah.
And they just increased the performance, so that was pretty scary. Then, once we got the throttle map and stuff sorted out, it was kind of learning how to ride it, not like a sports bike, but ride it, for what it is. And it means, it takes a little bit of a different style, as you worked out today. You got to use a way more rear brake. You got to use a lot of body position off the side of the bike. You're sitting rather high because we need ground clearance. And so you feel like you're a long way away from the floor. But so
it's like you just keep leaning and you're like, knee's not down yet, knee's not down yet, knee's not down yet.
Yeah, and then when you get to touching it, you go, oh
yeah.
But I mean, even the rider ergo and stuff, we had to change it quite a bit, try to get the balance right, to try to get the rider more on the front wheel, because obviously it was never designed to go on a racetrack. So we changed quite a bit, and we made things super stiff on it, like the swinging arm, and they are actually stiffer wheels on it now, the PVM wheels. So we went through a whole line of wheels, and we ended up with these ones because there's less movement out of them whenever they're under pressure. Triple clamp, same thing too, just beefier everywhere. They try to make it just to stabilize the bike a little bit, but now we have it in the window, it's working, way better than when you look at the bike, how you think it.
Yeah. And do you have to manage it whilst riding it? Is it using, because of its weight, is it using tires? Do the brakes fade a bit? How do you have to ride it in a reserved way and then push? You just go.
We don't get like brake fade, but we do get like abnormal tire wear. So this year thankfully Dunlop have put us on exactly the same rubber as the superbikes are using.
Right.
And that's improved it. So we can use like medium tires and get a little bit more out of it. Right. Sure is like dash for cash. We use the soft tire because it's only a 3-lap dash. But, last year we were trying to get, you're trying to get eight or 9 laps out of it. And by lap 4, it's completely sideways. So trying to find how to make this bike make grip was a bit of a challenge.
Yeah.
We've kind of shortened the standard swinging arm to try to pull the wheel forward.
Yeah.
And make more grip, and the rider positions helped a little bit. The tire improvements helped a little bit. Softer throttle maps have definitely improved.
Just to comment, there's no rider airs or anything on this. It's just down to the rider.
No, the only thing we use is a limit on the RPM at launch, because if you run it above 3,500, it basically goes into full wheelie mode. Yeah, so we just limit it for maybe for 2 or 3 meters, which helps. And then the launch time is pretty incredible. I think it goes from 0 to 100 in 2.5 seconds. So it's like quicker than anything that I've ridden from 0 to 100. But that's obviously because of its length and weight
and the torque.
And torque, yeah.
And in terms of lap times, we're like 3 to 4 seconds off superbike times in AMA. How far can you go with this? Like how? I mean, I think the times are 8 seconds. The first bagger race was at Laguna, and now the guys are going 8 to 7 seconds faster than they were 3 years. So where's the limit? Where do we go with this?
Every time it comes back, the 22 bike, this one to the 23 bike, Daytona, we were another 2 seconds quicker again, 2 to 3 seconds quicker again than we were the previous year. And to be honest with you, performance hasn't really changed, just all of those little tweaks that we're talking about, and improvements in suspension, for instance, and learning maybe, us learning how to use the torque and how to build a better throttle map have definitely improved it, because we kind of thought, make it aggressive to begin with so we can get off the corner, but it destroys the tire too quickly, and it's difficult to manage it because it's got so much torque. I don't know what numbers they're talking, but it's like twice what anything I've ever ridden, and I've ridden a torquey motorcycle. So that's trying to find that for each gear has been a challenge as well. Trying to find a torque map that we can use that basically doesn't destroy tire life or basically tie the bike in knots, because when it's making this sort of torque, it does have an effect on the chassis.
Well, after riding it, I can appreciate how it is, and it must be so hard. Because you've got to go like 10 tenths flat out every corner, every lap, with another 20 of these bikes elbow to elbow.
Honestly, I think that's the hardest thing. I think having to ride what you feel like you're riding way over 10 tenths. When you ride it, you feel like you're riding 110% all of the time. And if you're not riding at 110%, your lap time is nowhere. And it's so frustrating. And you got to go out and feel that you're having to override and override again. Yeah. But once you get it in the window, once the bike's in the window and the lap time comes, then you can keep the lap time for the whole weekend. Yeah. But trying to find the lap time at the beginning of the weekend is the really hard thing to do. Yeah. So you're talking yourself into it. Every time you walk up to the bike, you're going, right, okay, big set, gotta find a set. Dig in here and make it work. But it does. Every time we look at it, it's you get the butterflies because you know what's coming next. It's not an easy. It just takes a little bit of time and adjustment to get up to speed. Yeah.
Cool, man. Good luck for the rest of the season.
Thanks
for lending me a go on your bike. Cheers, mate.
Thanks.
It's a little intimidating, I'll give you that, when you come to ride it, because you expect it to be nearly a 300 kilogram bike with massive power and massive torque. But actually, once you get going, especially once you're in 3rd, 4th and 5th, it's quite an easy bike to ride, in that you don't have to chase the revs, because at 7,500 RPM, that's about it. So you're just in that mid-range torque and you're driving that mid-range. So it's just like on the quick shifter, in the mid-range, keep it going. The brakes are really impressive, really strong. The steering is incredible. It doesn't feel like a nearly 300 kilogram bike. It feels like 210, 220. The power is, because there's so much torque and so much power, it is pretty urgent. Like when you're off the bottom of the throttle in 2nd gear, you get a sudden burst of power and you're like, holy Jesus. So I imagine coming out of the 1st or 2nd gear hairpin, it's going to be pretty much of a handful. There's no traction control, there's no ABS, there's no electronics like in World Superbikes. This is just twist and go, have some fun. But for me, what I find so amusing about this bike and what I find so appealing is that they've taken something that is designed to go touring, and taken something that you go cruising on with a stereo and turned it into a race bike. I mean, that's just absolutely ludicrous. It's pretty easy or reasonably straightforward to turn a Fireblade into a race bike because it's already halfway there or more than. But to turn this into a race bike, I mean, where'd you buy the parts? Where'd you get the kit? Where'd you buy the parts from? It's just incredible. And then when you think about the lap times that they're doing, they're only 3 to 4 seconds off superbike times. I predict if we took this bike to a British track and we entered it in a British superbikes, it'd probably qualify. It'd probably be on the back of the grid, like 4 seconds off pole. On a bike that was designed to have a stereo and a bike that was designed to have comfortable, Indian have managed to transform it into a bike that can qualify at a high level of racing. That's an incredible fact when you think about it. It's transforming something that was never designed to do that into something completely different. Incredible bike to ride, really, really enjoyed it. Not as intimidating as I first thought. I'd love to really, really open it up and ride it on a real fast track and get dialed into it, because it's not like anything you've ridden before. It's not similar to a sports bike and it's not similar to a big V-twin. It's just very unique in its own way, but not as intimidating, as friendly as I thought. Big respect to the guys who race it, because it is very difficult to ride. It's easy to ride to a level, but to get to that last 10-20%, that's going to be incredibly difficult to ride. And again, big praise to the engineers, the chassis, and everybody who's been behind this project to build such an incredible bike. If you haven't checked out the Bike of Racing, please do so. It is brilliant racing, and you can see why it's so popular on social media. Thanks for watching. If you've got any comments, hit them below, and I'll try and get back to you.